Hello everyone, welcome to Ancient Chronicles. In this video I will talk about the Great Pyramids, a marvel of ancient architecture, have long been a source of fascination and wonder. However, for those who have not had the opportunity to visit Egypt, the concept of these monumental structures can be difficult to grasp. The pyramidal form, once a symbol of architectural perfection and grandeur, has unfortunately fallen out of use. It held a prestigious position in architecture from its inception until the era of the Maccabee kings. However, its decline began when it was overlooked by the Greeks and Romans, leading to its eventual disappearance in the Old World following the Western conquest of the East. Interestingly, the New World presented a different narrative. Early explorers found the pyramidal form alive and well among the native civilizations that had advanced the furthest. These structures held a high place in their cultural esteem. However, the arrival of the Spanish, with their deep-seated bigotry towards anything associated with idolatrous religions, marked the beginning of the end for these pyramids. The pyramids of Mexico were initially damaged out of wanton disregard and subsequently left to decay, leading some to question their original form. A visit to the plains of Teotihuacan, while enlightening, does not fully convey the true conception of a Great Pyramid. To truly appreciate the form, appearance, and impressiveness of these structures, one either needs to embark on a pilgrimage to Gizeh or Saqqara, or possess a lively and well-instructed imagination. The pyramids of Egypt, with their distinctive square base and four inclining sides, each forming an equilateral triangle, are a testament to the architectural prowess of the ancient Egyptians. These structures, which could be either solid or contain chambers and passages, were built with precision and skill. It has been established through excavation that all the Great Pyramids of Egypt were designed to house chambers and passages, necessitating a high standard of construction. Egypt is home to 60 to 70 pyramids, primarily located near Memphis. While some are nearly perfect and others are in varying states of ruin, most retain their ancient form when viewed from a distance. Among these, two stand out due to their size: the Great Pyramid and the Second Pyramid. A third, smaller pyramid in their vicinity, known as the Third Pyramid, also holds significance. These three pyramids, despite their differences in size, are integral to the narrative of Egypt. The smallest of the three, covering an area equivalent to an ordinary London square, stands at a height of 218 feet. Despite its relatively unimpressive height, the pyramid's mass, excellent masonry, and the ingenuity of its construction command admiration. Beneath the pyramid, a series of sepulchral chambers were carved into the rock. The largest chamber, located almost directly under the apex of the pyramid, was found empty. Another chamber, featuring an arched roof meticulously constructed, housed the sarcophagus of the king, Men-Kau-Ra. This sarcophagus, a single mass of polished and beautifully carved blue-black basalt, contained the wooden coffin of the monarch, bearing his name on the lid. The chambers were connected to the outside by two long passages, and another passage appears to have been used before the pyramid reached its final size. The tomb chamber, though carved in the rock, was lined with slabs of solid stone, secured to the native rock by iron cramps. The sarcophagus it once held, now sadly lost, weighed 3 tons. The Second Pyramid, located to the northeast of the Third Pyramid at a distance of about 270 yards, is a remarkable structure. With each side measuring 707 feet, it covers an area of almost 11.5 acres. This is nearly double the size of the largest building Rome ever produced, the Colosseum. The sides of the pyramid rise at an angle of 52 degrees 10, and its height is 454 feet, 50 feet taller than the spire of Salisbury Cathedral. To comprehend the enormity of this structure, consider this. If you were to build a solid stone house with walls a foot thick, 20 feet of frontage, and 30 feet of depth, with walls 24 feet high and a foundation of 6 feet, you would have a building containing 4,000 cubic feet of masonry. Now, imagine a town of 18,000 such houses, home to 100,000 inhabitants. If you were to dismantle these houses and pile them up to a height exceeding that of the spire of the Cathedral of Vienna, you would have a rough representation of the Second Pyramid of Gizeh. The internal construction of the Second Pyramid, while less elaborate than that of the Third, is not very different. Two passages lead from the outside to a sepulchral chamber almost exactly under the apex of the pyramid. The first passage, beginning about 50 feet from the base midway on the north side, was carried through the substance of the pyramid for a distance of 110 feet at a descending angle of 25 degrees 55. The second passage, wholly in the rock, began with a descent at an angle of 21 degrees 40, continued for 100 feet, then became horizontal for 50 feet, after which it ascended gently for 96 feet and joined the first passage. The sepulchral chamber, carved mainly out of the solid rock below the pyramid, was roofed in by some of the basement stones, which were sloped at an angle. The chamber measured 46 feet in length and 16 feet in breadth, with a height of 22 feet in the center. It contained a plain granite sarcophagus without any inscription, measuring 8.5 feet in length, 3.5 feet in breadth, and 3 feet in depth. Although no coffin was found in the sarcophagus at the time of its discovery, and no inscription was found on any part of the pyramid or its contents, tradition ascribes its construction to the immediate predecessor of Menkaure. The Great Pyramid, also known as the First Pyramid of Gizeh, is a marvel of human construction. Located almost due northeast of the Second Pyramid, it stands as the most prodigious of all human constructions in terms of its mass. The Great Pyramid's base measures 764 feet on each side, which is 57 feet more than that of the Second Pyramid. Its original height was over 480 feet, exceeding the heights of Strasbourg Cathedral, St. Peter's at Rome, St. Stephen's at Vienna, St. Paul's in London, and the Capitol at Washington. Covering an area of 13 acres, 1 rood, and 22 poles, it is nearly 2 acres larger than the Second Pyramid and 4 times the size of the Third Pyramid. The cubic contents of the Great Pyramid exceeded 89 million feet, and its mass weighed 6,840,000 tons. If its cubic contents were used to build houses as described earlier, it could construct a city of 22,000 houses. If laid in a line of cubic squares, it would reach a distance of nearly 17,000 miles, or 2/3 of the Earth's circumference at the equator. According to Herodotus, its construction required the continuous labor of 100,000 men for 20 years, a claim that modern scholars do not regard as exaggerated. The Great Pyramid is also remarkable for the massiveness of its blocks. The basement stones in many cases are 30 feet long, 5 feet high, and 4 or 5 feet wide. They contain from 600 to 750 cubic feet each, and weigh from 46 to 57 tons. The granite blocks that roof over the upper sepulchral chamber are nearly 19 feet long, 2 feet broad, and 3 to 4 feet deep. The relieving stones above the same chamber and those of the entrance passage are almost equally massive. While the massiveness of the blocks diminishes as the pyramid is ascended, the interior is composed of comparatively small stones, carefully hewn and squared to fit together compactly. The Great Pyramid, a marvel of ancient architecture, houses a complex network of passages, a long gallery, ventilation shafts, and 3 remarkable sepulchral chambers. One of these chambers lies deep in the rock, about 120 feet beneath the natural surface of the ground, almost directly below the apex of the structure. Measuring 46 feet by 27 feet and 11 feet high, it is accessed by a long and narrow passage that begins in the north side of the pyramid, about 70 feet above the original base. This passage descends for 40 yards through the masonry, and then for 70 more through the solid rock, before changing direction and becoming horizontal for 9 yards, leading into the chamber itself. The other 2 chambers are reached by an ascending passage, which branches off from the descending one at a distance of about 30 yards from the entrance. This passage ascends through the heart of the pyramid for over 40 yards, before dividing into 2. A low horizontal gallery, 110 feet long, leads to a chamber known as the Queen's, a room about 19 feet long by 17 feet broad, roofed with sloping blocks and having a height of 20 feet in the center. Another longer and much loftier gallery continues on for 150 feet in the line of the ascending passage, and is then connected by a short horizontal passage with the uppermost or king's chamber. Here, a sarcophagus believed to be that of King Khufu was found, as his name was scrawled in more than one place on the chamber walls. The construction of the king's chamber, the very heart of the whole building, is particularly remarkable. It is a room of 34 feet in length with a width of 17 feet and a height of 19 feet, composed wholly of large, beautifully polished granite blocks fitted together with great care. The construction of the roof is especially admirable. The chamber is covered with 9 huge blocks, each nearly 19 feet long and 4 feet wide, laid side by side upon the walls to form a complete ceiling. Above these blocks is a low chamber similarly covered in, and this is repeated 4 times. Then there is a 5th opening, triangular, and roofed in by a set of huge sloping blocks which meet at the apex and support each other. This design was intended to relieve the chamber from any superincumbent weight and prevent it from being crushed by the mass of material above it. This objective has been so completely achieved that even after more than 40 centuries, the entire chamber, with its elaborate roof, remains intact, without any cracks or settlement. In conclusion, the pyramids of Egypt, with their architectural sophistication and historical significance, continue to captivate us, offering a glimpse into the past and challenging our understanding of this ancient civilization. Thanks for sticking with me until the end. If you liked the video, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more amazing content. See you in the next one.